City on a Saturday in late September, home to the Vanderbilt Commodores. And the number 2 team in America is here today. Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs, led by big Jordan Davis, Adam Anderson, and quarterback JT Daniels is here as well. Number 2 Georgia versus Vanderbilt. First conference game for each team. It's SEC Network football, presented by Allstate. Georgia warming up, getting ready for this game against the Commodores. First time they've seen them in 2 years. With a man that was an All-American that used to play on this field and all the SEC fields, Matt Stinchcomb. I'm Taylor Zarzour. Alyssa Lang is on the field. Stinch, I think all DGDs, as they're called, all those crazy dog people want to know this. We're number 2 in the country. How do we get to number 1?
Well, one step will be to be healthy, get healthy and stay healthy. JT Daniels returning to the starting lineup last week versus South Carolina. Didn't seem to have any ill effects from that oblique injury. And when you think about that offense rounding out that running game, because it's been largely absent this year, hasn't been explosive, need to rip off a couple of big runs. Can they get that element going offensively? And then defensively, the passing game, the contested balls downfield, break those up, somehow don't panic at the end and generate types of penalties. The secondary still needs to take some strides, I think, towards the back end of the schedule.
Overall, the defense has been terrific, doesn't take a backseat to anybody. Just ask Shane Beamer from last Saturday night.
They've got like 105-star football players on their defense. They have a defensive lineman that weighs 340 pounds and runs better than everybody on this call. They've got 5-star defensive backs. They're big and physical and fast. I mean, other than that, they're really freaking good. That's why they have the top defense in the country. They're hard to run the football on. So there wasn't some magical scheme they came out with tonight. They got 5-star recruits everywhere, and they play really physical. Damn.
They put it on his Gamecocks last week. They put it on everybody so far this year.
Yeah, they really have. I mean, even when you look at the points allowed, just 7 of those you can assign really to the Georgia offense, a pick 6 by UAB. Otherwise, you're looking at a defense that has done a phenomenal job of keeping teams out of the end zone all season long.
Meanwhile, for the Vanderbilt Commodores and first-year head coach Clark Lea, some ups and downs so far. They lost to East Tennessee State on this field to start the season, but then they beat Colorado State the next week. That was their first win in 2 years.
And they had to rally. You know, one of the things that Clark Lea talked about was just how glazed over his team looked early on in that game when they went down to East Tennessee State. They rallied on the road versus Colorado State, were able to come out with a victory after being down 14 points. And then last week versus Stanford, they were battling. That game was closer than the scoreboard otherwise indicated. Clark Lea was encouraged by the performance of his Commodore team last Saturday.
68 degrees, a little cloudy, a little bit of rain. Georgia won the toss and deferred, so Vandy will receive. Jake Camarda will kick it deep to James Ziegler, who's coming out. And Ziegler is down at the 17-yard line to the field, and say hello to Alyssa Lang.
Yeah, guys, we're going to talk all day about that Georgia defense, but Stinch talked about the secondary. That's something that this Vanderbilt offense may look to exploit throughout the day today. They have a couple of receivers that they like in 50-50 battles, specifically Chris Pierce and Devin Body. I'm told Body has the best hands on the team, and Chris Pierce comes in over 6 foot, about 235. So they're going to look to throw the deep ball today if they want to stay competitive with this Georgia team.
Alyssa, the guy throwing them that football will be Ken Seals, the sophomore from Azle, Texas. Only the 3rd true freshman quarterback in SEC history to start the season opener. He did that last year, and Rocco Griffin runs into Nolan Smith. No gain. What have you seen from Seals so far this season, Stinch?
Well, you know, last year he was able to break records as a freshman. It was a prolific year from a yardage generation standpoint. And he started out a little bit rocky. Obviously, East Tennessee State, the opener, he was pressing, trying to make plays that weren't there, compromise the offense and their ability to move the football. He was able to make some throws last week on time and in rhythm. They need him to be very consistent as the rudder of their offense.
Will Shepard coming in motion, already some movement. David Smith is today's referee. See the Vandy offense with Rocco Griffin and Ken Seals. Alyssa's talked about those receivers. Ben Bresnahan is not out there yet. He's a bit banged up. Could see him as the game continues. Without their center, Michael Wharton out for the season. Julian Hernandez has had to fill in. Now 2nd and 15. Facing pressure, they get it, but it's incomplete. Tight coverage over there on the sideline as Chris Pierce was covered up by Keely Ringo.
Strong start already now for this Georgia defense, and you can't concede 5 yards going backwards because you look at the playmakers. Nolan Smith already with the play, Nakobe Dean, and that secondary, as we mentioned, guys that are needing to step up, round into form. And Keely Ringo did a good job there, breaking up that pass.
Kirby Smart is saying he's evaluating those guys minute by minute so far this season with all the guys they lost to the NFL. Doors have to get to the 27-yard line. They just go to the ground and no chance. Jalen Carter, number 88, may be about as talented as number 99 who plays in front of him.
You said it, it's true. Now watch him shed this block. Not just shed it, toss it. I mean, it just is so physical. Plays well with his hands. Almost just like a clothesline, man. Just toss that blocker right out of the way. Number 88, Jalen Carter, on just about any other defense as a starter.
Kyrus Jackson waits at midfield for the punt that hits off of a helmet of a Vandy player, Justin Harris, and goes out of bounds near midfield. So the Dogs will start with great field position on their first possession. Mentioned the fact that this is the 81st meeting. They played 52 straight years before the game was canceled last year. So this is the first time JT Daniels has had a chance to go up against the Commodores.
JT Daniels, a guy that's already missed a game. We touched on it earlier. Injured his oblique prior to the season even starting, but looked more than healthy. They said he took the reps this week, and really no concerns health-wise for the quarterback.
He'll throw immediately and quickly to Lade McConkey, the possession receiver. Gets the first down, and the yards after the catch, McConkey's not known for that. He usually makes the diving grabs. He's down for 21 yards to the 28-yard line.
Georgia quick to the line after the explosive play on that first snap.
Again, a fake, and then just a little toss to Brock Bowers, who's been the leading receiver for Georgia at tight end this season, as Darnell Washington still banged up. There's that offensive line. Everybody throughout the Peach State has been asking, hey, Stinch, what do you think of these guys?
Yeah, I got to tell you, these are guys that still have their best football in front of them. You know, some of the details that they got to clean up in the run games probably hurt them from getting more explosive runs. They're there. It's just a hat placement here, a technique there.
Bowers got 5, and now here comes Zeus. Zamir White, tackled by Nate Clifton. He's into the red zone. It'll be 3rd and short. It's the Vanderbilt defense. Jesse Minter, the defensive coordinator in his first season. Ethan Barr making a boatload of tackles, and the secondary behind them. Now, this has been one of the Georgia issues on offense. In the red zone, they're just 8 of 11 scoring points. On 3rd and 2, first down, and down at the 12-yard line. Good open field tackle by Marlon Sewell, but White is able to move the chains.
It's a familiar play if you've watched Georgia on offense. It's a toss sweep. Jamare Salyer out there in front. Brock Bowers, the true freshman tight end, showing his blocking downfield. 19's a good receiver. He's showing more than a little bit of willingness to be a lead blocker.
Good blocking in front of White. Interested to see, Stinch, if they start feeding him the football today. On an end around, it's Bowers. Bowers dives to the goal line. Yes, touchdown. How about calling a sweep to your tight end on an end around for a touchdown?
You know, when you said start feeding him the football, you're probably talking about Zamir White, right, in the ground game. Brock Bowers has gotten a ton of targets. In fact, he's been the most targeted receiver for Georgia. But how about getting him an easy touch as a ball carrier? Do you think they trust this kid's speed? We're talking to the coaches the other day. They said, we're not surprised by the productivity they've gotten out of their true freshman tight end in Brock Bowers.
Jack Podlesny makes it 345 extra points in a row. The California Dogs are all over the field, diving to the pylon. He's in. Touchdown, Dogs. Pretty good start to your true freshman season. Brock Bowers from Napa, California, leads the team in receptions, and his first career rush goes for a touchdown.
How's that for efficiency? Look at him, he's over there telling these other tight ends, like, see, that's what it looks like, boys. You know, if I keep this up, you know, maybe I'll get your shot at it.
You're saying there's a chance that John Fitzpatrick may do a end around for a touchdown at some point?
I'm actually saying, in fact, there is no chance of that. Good job blocking on the edge.
Vandy will get the ball at the 25-yard line. I think Georgia fans started thinking about big things in 2021 when big Jordan Davis made this announcement during the offseason to come back for his senior season. It's a great comment right here. Have to wait another year. We have some unfinished business. Georgia is my home. I'm not going anywhere. Let's run it back one more time. Hashtag revenge tour. That is so unique for a first-round draft pick to do in 2021. Well, Kiper thinks he's the #1 defensive tackle in college football. Seals throws, batted down at the line of scrimmage by Trayvon Walker. Alyssa, how about Jordan Davis's decision to come back?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Georgia fans were very excited about that. It's easy to see why when you put on the tape from week to week. But in our meeting yesterday, I asked Kirby Smart, you know, when NFL scouts call you up and say, what is 99 like off the field behind closed doors? He used the words articulate and witty. He said, not your typical defensive lineman, Stinch, calling him witty.
Yeah, no, these D-line guys are usually just a bunch of mouth breathers. But Jordan Davis, he's a fantastic personality, one of the most well-liked guys on the team.
Rocco runs into Jordan Davis and 4 others. Lewis Seen comes up to make the tackle. I love how all criticism from you starts with someone being a mouth breather. It is 3rd down.
Well, that's an offensive lineman's perspective of a defensive lineman. I'm sure there's some smart ones out there. 99's one of them. But there's not many. You could see there, even on that one. It's interesting in his quote, I'm not going anywhere, and he doesn't. They don't move number 99 to opposing offenses. And then on 3rd down, you substitute number 88, Jalen Carter. There is no drop-off. In fact, he's even better as a pass rusher. He's lined up over the right guard for Vanderbilt.
Let's see if the Doors can move the chains on a 3rd and 6. Seals feeling the pressure, throws it into double coverage, and covered up was Chris Pierce. The pressure came from Jalen Carter again, 4th down.
They're so active on the defensive front. And we were talking with Vanderbilt's coaches, what is your protection plan? They've had tight ends in there to either protect or extend the line of scrimmage to displace the rusher one more blocker. It hadn't mattered. That time they ran an in-tackle stunt. Jalen Carter showing the quickness upfield and getting a hit on a quarterback.
Second punt for Smith, another short one that is hitting upbacks. Harrison had a good year last year, but those are 2 punts to forget. See Georgia on their last drive, quite efficient.
They came out firing, just taking the easy yards. Nice blocking on the perimeter that time by A.D. Mitchell. Then on a 3rd and short, you get a toss sweep, clean blocking. Nice way to get it upfield. And then Brock Bowers rewarded for his lead blocking effort with a fly sweep to a tight end for a touchdown. 1 rush, 1 score for number 19.
James Cook in, Zamir White out. And here's the ball to one of the more talented multi-purpose backs in college football, and a great tackle by Jalen Mahoney to make Cook lose his balance. It'll be second down. You know, Georgia has so many backs. They've got 5 or 6 that they can count on to carry the mail for them, the deepest team in college football. Maybe they're too deep, though, Stinch, because no one's been able to get into a rhythm yet this year.
Such a heavy rotation, right? And so Cook comes out. Here comes Kenny McIntosh. No drop-off, but definitely it's hard to get into a rhythm.
Fake to McIntosh, and a little tunnel screen catch made by Kyrus Jackson. Good to see him start catching the football. He's been a bit banged up. It'll be third down.
Trying to find ways to get Kyrus Jackson more involved as Georgia's over the line quickly.
Here are today's keys to victory, brought to you by Barbecue Guys. And we'll show you those in just a minute after we show you the first down catch by Jackson, who is down inside the 30-yard line to the 27. 2 straight catches for the junior from Fort Valley, Georgia. This good for 28.
Well, we talked about Jackson. Hadn't had a ton of looks. He's coming back from that knee injury. He just centers up right over the football, shows his hands and numbers to JT Daniels, able to find him right over the middle. Couple of touches for number 10. It's only been spot duty mostly this year.
Eli and Archie are going to have to hold off on that grill for a minute.
Yeah.
Another catch made in the open field. McConkey tackled. Nice game so far by Mahoney. Another open field tackle. All right, now tell us what the Barbecue Guys' keys to victory are today for Georgia.
I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, but fix the little things in the run game. They're right there. They're close, but they haven't popped any big ones because of it. The pass defense, Dan Lanning talked about this. It's the big plays, the contested balls that need to be incompletions. They have to find a way to break those up and then build trust with some of the new faces in this passing game.
Throw to the sideline, and the catch can't be made by Justin Robinson. That's the first incompletion for Georgia. Daniels was 5 for 5.
We've seen so far taking those easy yards on some of the off coverage and the numbers advantages on the perimeter. You see JT Daniels has been money on third down. 14 of 16, 10 of those went for first downs.
That was before this game. They're already 2 for 2 today. Daniels all day throws to the into the side, the 10 to the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown Bowers. Well, everyone wondered when Darnell Washington went down what Georgia was going to do at tight end. How about this guy?
Well, 2 different skill sets, no doubt. I mean, Brock Bowers already now, we mentioned him as a blocker, as a runner, and now as a receiver. 2 touchdowns already for the leading pass catcher of the Georgia Bulldogs.
14-0, not even 7 minutes into the game. Where's Eric Gilbert? Where's Darnell Washington? Don't worry about it. Georgia's got Brock Bowers, 2 touchdowns already. Dogs on top, 14-0. Jim Nagy runs the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama, and he's in love with these Georgia defensive linemen. Take it away, Jim.
To put into perspective just how good this Georgia defense is from an NFL talent perspective, we could have as many as 8 players off this unit in this year's Reese's Senior Bowl, which would be an all-time high. And it all starts in the middle with the immovable force, Jordan Davis at nose tackle. This is a guy that can do it all. He's exactly what the NFL is looking for in the interior defensive line position. He can clog it up inside. He can push the pocket. He can chase to the perimeter. His running mate inside, Devontae Wyatt, has made a really nice jump from his junior tape. Another explosive player, quick penetrator inside. Then you go up to the edge with Adam Anderson. And there's a lot of college pass rushers that can win with speed or power or counters. He can do all 3 things. So by the time we get to April, you're talking about that top pass rush group like we did last year with Azeez Ojulari. Adam Anderson's going to be a part of that group.
There's a fumble on the field, and Georgia has recovered it, and they're down inside the 4-yard line. It was picked up by Dejon Edwards. One of those running backs run a kickoff team got the fumble. It was forced by Jalen Johnson. I don't know why Ziegler decided to come out.
A couple of times now where you're going, know what, man, just take the touchback. Look at the coverage team converge. You're pinballing around, ball comes shooting out. Great awareness, and it couldn't have gone to a worse guy on the coverage unit. Daijun Edwards, a running back by trade. Practically a handoff to Edwards, and he could smell the end zone. You could see it, and just so much adversity to start this game for Vanderbilt.
Got to give Robert Beal a shout out. He helped cause that too. We can't even give any love to the defensive line. Jim Nagy trying to give them some praise. They don't even get a chance to get on the field as Vandy calls timeout as Georgia starts the possession from the Commodore 4.
Going back to what Nagy was saying about this front seven, really, and Kirby even talking about this is my probably the best front seven I've had, and the distinction that he made was the experience. And you think about Jim Nagy talking about how number 99 and Jordan Davis, he's exactly what the NFL is looking for. That wasn't the case early on in his career, and he has developed and worked into that position to where he's D lineman number 1 off the board as it is right now. Talk about that skill set and his ability to collapse the pocket, to jet a gap, meaning he can get penetration, he can hold the point, meaning he's not going to get knocked off the line of scrimmage so your linebackers can run, and he can run. 99 is 340 pounds only in your program. That guy is much bigger than that and runs like he's much smaller than that. That is a unique talent. You're not often built like that.
Will Brock Bowers share the wealth on this third Georgia possession? Bowers at the end of the line of scrimmage on the right side. Handoff to White. One play to the goal line. It'll be second and short. Looked like White's helmet almost got across.
Yeah, first it looked like he was on top of a Commodore defender before he would have been established down. Not sure that I ever saw the ball break the plane. So take another look at it. You see White there in the middle of your screen. There's a defender beneath him. Does his elbow establish him down before that ball crosses the plane? I think maybe it did. That left elbow.
They won't worry about it. They'll give him another chance, and it certainly did this time. Touchdown Dogs.
We talk about the Georgia defense scoring touchdowns, generating turnovers. Now special teams getting in on the act, providing the offense with an exceptionally short field. We talk about the red zone. Are they able to capitalize? And look at White. Just take the handoff, close your eyes, and bang your head on a goalpost.
Todd Lesney continues the longest streak in NCAA history for extra points. It is 21-0. Pro prospects all over the football field for Georgia. Will Muschamp talking to John Robinson, the Tennessee Titans general manager, taking a few notes already on a few guys. Muschamp played against some of these Bulldogs for a couple of years now. He's coaching them as the special teams coach.
Yeah, I mean, just right down the road for John Robinson, right? This is an easy day for him. Let me squeeze in some scouting looks. I'll do it myself. Come down here and eyeball it directly. And we were down in the press box earlier. As you see there, Will Muschamp, former head coach of South Carolina, former Georgia Bulldog, defensive back, head coach in Florida, now a defensive analyst. Kind of converted now as an on-the-field coach, working with special teams and a well-respected defensive mind in and of his own right. Saw a New England Patriots scout in the press box earlier. There's quite a few NFL representatives here today.
Kirby Smart, Matt Stinchcomb, and Taylor Zarzour are still fighting the good fight, not using the cheaters.
That's right.
Fair catch, and Vanderbilt will start at the 25-yard line. More SEC college football action later today, all from the Yellowhammer State. At 4 Eastern, Georgia State travels to Jordan-Hare to take on number 23 Auburn. At 7:30 Eastern, our Saturday night game presented by T-Mobile's at Bryant-Denny as number 1 Alabama hosts Southern Miss. Bryce Young, 22 for 35, 240 yards, 3 touchdowns last week. Tank Bigsby off to a great start. Man, I thought Auburn was going to pull that off in that whiteout in State College last weekend.
What a great environment that was, huh? We had 2 great home game environments last week. You see Alabama, Florida, visiting the Swamp, and then up there in Happy Valley.
Seals throws again into traffic and it's picked off. Bouncing off one dog, and it's Christopher Smith who took one to the house against Clemson. He gets his 2nd pick of the year.
There's just no room. There's no room to fit this ball in. You see, you're trying to run play action, move the pocket a little bit. Ball's behind Chris Pierce. So really it was the ball placement as much as it was Darian Kendrick, who was in coverage trailing. And another turnover, another short field for the Georgia offense. We talk about great defenses. It's not just about stopping the opponent. It's about setting the table for your own offense, and repeatedly the Georgia defense has done that.
JT hands off to Cook, and James barrels ahead for 9 tough yards, broke several tackles against UAB a couple weeks ago for 14 yards. Most would say he's the most physical back of the 2 or 3 that's play in the first half.
And Ethan Barr, who was in on that tackle, off the field, helmet issue.
Daniels, end zone, touchdown, Ladd McConkey.
Watch Ladd McConkey high point this football. Pressure, JT Daniels stands in there. There was no doubt. Watch the quarterback take this shot. He knows he's going to get hit. He stands in there. He follows the ball all the way through. Ladd McConkey does a good job of high pointing the football and coming down with a touchdown.
We haven't even played 8.5 minutes yet, and it's 28-0. 4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. Georgia had the game canceled on them last year. They're taking it on Vandy today.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
These are the only 2 head coaches at their alma mater currently in the Southeastern Conference. Clark Lee in his first year at Vanderbilt, Kirby Smart in his 6th season in Athens. 45-year-old, the all-SEC defensive back at Georgia during the Stinchcomb era. Vandy starts at the 25. Kirby's got to be awfully proud of the way his team has played in the first 8 minutes and 18 seconds.
Well, especially as a defensive-minded coach, obviously a head coach, you want to look at things globally, but defensively dominant. And that was what was expected, frankly. You know, Vanderbilt has struggled this year offensively, been very up and down. When they have gotten things going, they've been running the football well, and now they've decided to make a change, it appears, at quarterback.
Pretty quickly, too. Ken Seals was 0 for 4 in an interception, and now Mike Wright is in at quarterback for Vanderbilt. The sophomore from Fayetteville, Georgia, who's been playing a bunch the last 2 years. Hands to true freshman Patrick Smith. And Smith will get a couple. Vandy's without Raymond Davis today. Tramel Walthour with the tackle after 3.
Now, last week, Vanderbilt put together a really impressive rushing performance. They went for 247 yards. But you mentioned Davis. Ramon Davis not available, injured. Had toe surgery this week, out for the year. Now they just go with the empty backfield.
Right, and that ball's incomplete as he was looking for Will Shepard. Lewis Seen all over him. third down.
That ball was also behind the intended receiver. We go back to that turnover earlier by Christopher Smith. Did a great job of making a play on it, but really it was the ball placement at that time behind Shepard, who has been the most targeted receiver in the Vanderbilt offense this season, a guy who's really emerged. Number 14, he's lined up the bottom of your screen, the inside receiver in the slot. He has been heavily targeted on third downs this year.
Vandy still looking for their first completion. Wright feels the pressure, takes off, and is tackled before the line to gain. Devontae Wyatt and Nolan Smith caught him, fourth down.
Two defenders on Shepard. Nowhere to go with this football. Devontae Wyatt, a guy, you don't hear about him much. We talk about Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Talk about a guy that has really built his draft stock. Devontae Wyatt putting together a great season as well.
Harrison Smith doesn't hit anybody with the ball this time, and it goes out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. It's a punt of 42 yards. You're flipping around and you're just checking out early games, and you got here and you're thinking, wait a second. I mean, I just got comfortable. Brock Bowers, 3 touches, 2 touchdowns. JT Daniels already thrown for 100 yards, and the Georgia defense has allowed 11 total yards and 0 completions.
Yeah, you think about Vanderbilt offensively, just tossing up alley-oops to their opponent. You get a procedure penalty at home on the opening possession, you back up 5 yards. You're already behind the sticks, and you give the Georgia offense a 50-yard field to play on. Your special teams fumbles the ball, and then you throw an interception. You are making it too easy for an opponent that comes in here hot.
Fake to Kenny McIntosh. Daniels wants to load up, and he's got another open receiver at midfield. That is Adonai Mitchell, the freshman from Missouri City, Texas, and Georgia's back into Vanderbilt territory.
And that was almost dealer's choice. At first, I think JT Daniels was thinking, I might hit Kyrus Jackson. Instead, he comes to A.D. Mitchell, who has really emerged as well. Missed 2020. That's the 4th play of 20 yards or more for this Georgia offense.
The SEC Freshman of the Week last week. A.D. grabs it again, fumbles the football, but it goes out of bounds as Marlon Sewell was there to stop him.
I see a lot of RPOs in offenses these days, but on that one, Georgia's blocking up front. JT Daniels decides to flip it out wide. And they get such great movement. Look at the left side of the offensive front. I'm not sure that they're not downfield, even though they're engaged with the down lineman. You don't see that often. Usually it's an uncovered lineman kind of floating downfield.
Toss to McIntosh, huge hole, and he slides down inside the 30-yard line. Since we were supposed to call this game last year in Athens, it was supposed to be senior day during COVID, and families were going to gather, albeit a bit distanced, in Sanford Stadium. And the day before, Kirby Smart got on our call and he said, guys, we're not playing. Vandy just canceled the game. They don't have enough players. It's the first time these teams have been able to play in 2 years, and Georgia is putting a whooping, as they say in these parts, on Vanderbilt already.
They're averaging almost 10 yards a play, almost a first down every time they snap the football.
Got 10 on the last carry from McIntosh, and now Cook goes inside the 25, inside the 24 for 7 more.
One of the things we talked to Todd Monken, offensive coordinator, about was James Cook. A guy that's been in the program. You hear a lot about him. Oh, he's a good pass receiver, a guy that's good out in space. He said last year, Cook was kind of more of a great athlete that was at the running back position. But what has stood out to him this year is he's been more physical downhill between the tackles.
He's out. McIntosh is in. Instead, it's an end around to McConkey. He's got wide open turf in front of him. Another Georgia touchdown.
They get you leaning defensively, right? You've seen the toss into the boundary a couple of times, and this time, instead you're tossing it to your receiver who's flying in that orbit motion, takes the toss the opposite way. There was really no blocking needed. The defense was leaning so hard the opposite direction.
You know, Stinch, coming into this game, I was so ready to talk to you about all the different running backs that Georgia has and how they share the wealth on offense. I don't think I was ready to ask you about Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey running the football for touchdowns.
And who would have thought that as great as the running back room is, that the longest run of the season would be by Ladd McConkey. 24 yards. Before that, it was 23 yards by James Cook, and that was just last week. We talked about the explosion plays. You know, one of the difficulties Georgia has in generating those in this game is the field's too small. It's been a short field for this Georgia offense the entire first half. Brock Bowers, he's taking handoffs in for a score. Ladd McConkey getting in on the action. Running backs are going to get jealous. We're talking about these guys can't get into a rhythm. Well, yeah, now they're going to share handoffs with the receiver room.
And one of them isn't playing today, Kendall Milton. I was talking to Kirby Smart on the field before the game, and he's still a bit banged up. What a first quarter by Georgia. It's not over yet. Fair catch again for Vandy. They're going to get the football at their own 25-yard line.
Wherever fun happens, Academy Sports and Outdoors is there.
Seals stays on the bench. Mike Wright back on the field. Seals 0 for 4. Vandy has not completed a pass yet. Sun starts shining in Nashville again. Rocco Griffin might have gotten a yard there. It's 2nd and 9. Clark Lee, as you can see, has an uphill battle. It's his first game as in league play, 4th game as the head coach at Vandy. Nashville native that went to high school literally down the street at Montgomery Bell Academy. Started his collegiate career at Birmingham Southern, then came back here to play baseball at Belmont here in town before transferring to Vandy and playing fullback there. 2nd and 8, Wright pumps, takes off. Vanderbilt has a first down. And a flag, 3 of them come in at the end.
That's a great decision that time by Wright. He lets go of that football, he eats it. Pressure was right there. Robert Beal in his lap. Instead, he pulls it down and does a great job of making something out of nothing.
Personal foul, number 88 on the defense. Unnecessary roughness. 15 yards, 17 will be added to the end of the line. First down.
Jalen Carter with that personal foul, so Vanderbilt now has the football in Georgia territory.
Jalen Carter is kind of working a stunt. He was there towards the middle of the field. Must have taken a shot on a guy that was kind of trailing the play because he certainly wasn't involved at the boundary on Mike Wright. As it is, a first down for the Vanderbilt Commodore offense, and they're past midfield with the penalty.
So Wright with the gain and then the 15 yards gives Vandy the ball at the 45, and that's Vanderbilt's first completion of the game. It's a short one to Devin Body. Alyssa, why is Seals out and Wright in?
Well, I was going to talk to you guys a little bit more about Wright, still efforting to find out why they made that quarterback change. But you look back on Wright's high school career, he's from Fayetteville, Georgia. He helped lead his team to the Georgia 4A state semifinals when he was a senior. But even more importantly, as you saw 2 plays ago, he's fast. He holds his school's 200-meter dash school record. So, yeah, pretty speedy.
Yeah, we've seen it already. I've got people from Fayetteville, Georgia, Stinch. Just outside of Atlanta, about an hour away. Wright to the sideline, and what a catch.
Wow.
Is he in bounds? No, they say Pierce didn't get a foot in, but Odell Beckham pointed that football.
What an effort by Chris Pierce right here. Alyssa talked about it earlier, the strong hands of number 19. Look at that. And just narrowly misses making an incredibly acrobatic catch. Came down with it, just ran out of football field. But you can see it makes sense, right? Where you put Mike Wright in there, there's so much pressure. You're not holding up in protection. Put a guy back there that can be a threat with his legs. It's what got them here with the previous first down conversion.
Vandy will call another timeout. We were talking about Clark Lea and him taking this job. He knows he's the man for it because of his Vanderbilt ties, because of his ties to the city. And he didn't pull any punches on our call yesterday, knowing that he is starting this program. He's not starting it over. He's having to build it completely from scratch after what Vanderbilt had to endure last year, going 0-9. You see his background there. He coached at UCLA, South Dakota State, Bowling Green, Syracuse, Wake Forest, and Notre Dame before he came back to Nashville to take this job.
Yeah, and he knew what it was coming. I mean, it's the impossible precept, right? You got to know thyself coming into this. What are you walking into? And he recognized there in the first game, ETSU, the most fearful unbelief is unbelief in yourself. That's what they had. And he's going to have to build that back into this program. They have to believe that they can compete. They've shown flashes of it in previous games. This is the first instance in this contest offensively where they've given themselves a chance.
Wright fakes the toss, keeps it himself. It's another first down run, and he gives himself up at the 33-yard line. Certainly the element of Wright's feet is what makes him different than Seals.
And you can see great fake. It was very well-designed play to Kobe Dean. He slid out wide. He was trying to pick up the ball carrier, and instead Wright kept it and went underneath.
And the option keeper from Wright and Latavius Brini was back there. He's going to lose a yard. It's second down.
It's going to be a challenge in the zone read kind of pull game. Because Georgia rallies to the football so quickly, even if you see that edge defender turn his shoulder and play the running back downhill, those quarterbacks read that and they want to pull it. Georgia does such a good job with its speed of rallying. They're not going to be able to make a steady diet of that in the ground game.
Five wide receivers, and Wright wanted to keep it himself, and Georgia has figured that out. Nolan Smith was there to help clog the middle.
Georgia doesn't just line up and rush. And they don't just line up and stack up the blocks. They're constantly twisting and collapsing outside defenders into the interior line and having their interior linemen work to be contained players. It confuses protections and blocking schemes.
200 total yards, 2 turnovers forced, a couple of wide receivers and tight ends running for touchdowns. All Georgia Bulldogs.
Beef farmers and ranchers around the country.
Matches as Wright takes on more Georgia defenders to start the second quarter. Brini with the tackle. What a first quarter by Georgia, with over 200 total yards, dominating the game. And Vandy is going to line up for a 49-yard field goal. Joe Bulovas played 4 years at Alabama, part of the national championship team last year, graduated from T-Town in grad school here in Nashville, and the 49-yarder just pushes left. Like the boys in Kohler, Wisconsin, he had to fight the wind, and at the very end, it tailed off to the left.
Almost got this thing blocked, it looked like. And they loaded up. Look at the right side. Jordan Davis comes through. We talk about his girth. The guy's 6'6" if he's an inch. They have a guy running in there and he's standing in the backfield. But you're right, that ball had a chance. Torres was off just a little bit.
It's a great question by Peter about what's more impressive. Stetson Bennett's already in the game. as JT Daniels is out after one quarter. Bennett looked terrific against UAB and keeps the football here, and Stetson is up to the 39-yard line. Hey, speaking of Harris English, he's pumped to represent all those Georgia Bulldogs fans.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, it's hard to believe I'm the third Georgia golfer to ever make the Ryder Cup team. With all the guys that have come through there, I can see a lot more making it in the next 5 or 10 years. So I think I'm going to be the first of a big wave coming. But it's really cool. Not only am I representing our country, I'm representing the state of Georgia. Moultrie, Georgia, went to high school in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Sea Island, Georgia. So I feel like I'm representing all those places that are near and dear to my heart. But it's cool to have the Bulldog Nation behind me.
Samir White got 11 while Harry was talking there. He won his match with Tony Finau yesterday. United States up 9-3 as they go into afternoon matches. A.D. Mitchell with the catch. Kirby Smart was all fired up to watch Harris English perform today and tomorrow.
No doubt. Yeah, big golfer is Kirby Smart. Also excited to see a different lineup change along this offensive front. So that big run a second ago by Zamir White was right behind Jamari Salyer, who's in at left guard now. So you see big Broderick Jones out there, left tackle, getting some snaps early in this game. This is a lineup that many people anticipated Georgia being able to field with Salyer in the inside.
Something to watch. Bennett's already in a groove on his first drive of the game. There's Jermaine Burton. Bennett, the Blackshear, Georgia native, throwing it over there to Burton, who's been a little hobbled the last couple of weeks, but still playing through the injuries.
Tom Monken was talking about him. He missed so much time. Missed time in the spring, missed time this summer in preseason camp, a couple of weeks. He's still rounding into form, keeping in mind, last year was really first time he was able to emerge at receiver.
Bennett,
protection.
All day, and he almost throws an interception, and a flag comes in. Brendan Harris had hit him in the helmet. Maybe he had something to do with Jalen Johnson falling down on the play.
No doubt. I mean, his protection was stellar. This is, make your decision where you want to go. And you see right there, played right through the receiver to Brendan Harris. Jalen Johnson going down. Easy call for the official.
Pass interference on the defense. Number 27, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
And this is, you can only hope that it would go this well, ever. It's hard to maintain a pocket that long. And literally Stetson, I think he worked left to right twice. He had enough time to do that. Maybe make halfway through War and Peace before he unloaded that football.
Stabler used to do that for the Raiders back in the 70s, stand back there like a statue. There's that huge Raider wall would protect him, similar to that.
You got Mickey Marvin and Gene Upshaw in front of you. You can do that, Art Shell.
1st and 10, and that one's not going to work. Jalen Johnson made the catch, but Michael Owusu there to make the tackle.
Nice trigger by Owusu. That's a guy, his name popped up a couple of times. Defensive coordinator Jesse Minter said, we got to get more out of him. He's a guy that they need to be a twitchy playmaker for him defensively. So there's a play that didn't go for positive yards. This is something that Georgia offensively has done a great job of all season. No negative yardage plays. Good job that time by Owusu, triggering fast to make the tackle.
Bennett again all day, and it's dropped by Mitchell.
The ball hasn't been on the ground much today in the passing game. Twice, in fact, if you don't include the PI. And the other two have been drops. Earlier it was Justin Robinson on the boundary. And that time A.D. Mitchell, who has really come on, come up with that catch for his quarterback.
Try it again. You got a brick wall in front of you. McIntosh in the backfield, 3rd and 14. Andy still unable to get any pressure, although Bennett is flushed out, throws on the run, and it's up in the air, and it is picked off. Ethan Barr, after hitting 2 people, comes up with the football.
Well, we talked about Vanderbilt passers throwing behind. This time it's Stetson Bennett. He's pressing, trying to force the ball in there. Could have been picked initially. It ends up carrying off. It looks like Mahoney. And Ethan Barr is there trailing the play to get a turnover for the Commodore D.
America.
First-year coaches in the Southeastern Conference in 2021. Shane Beamer lost to the Dogs last week. Josh Heupel, a 2-1 start in Knoxville. Heartbreaking loss for Brian Harsin and Auburn at Penn State last week. And Clark here in the Music City, off to a 1-2 start. But Ethan Barr given credit for that interception. That's the way it was called on the field. That is his first career interception. Lee trying to establish a culture here in Nashville. Ken Seals started the game, but he was 0 for 4 passing. So Mike Wright, this is his 3rd series in at quarterback for Vandy, and he turns and hands to Rocco Griffin. Alyssa, how about the way that Clark Lee is trying to build a culture?
Yeah, one of the things that he says he's harped on a lot with his team, guys, is honesty and consistency. Consistency being an issue more so over the past couple of weeks. So you see the defense come up with a big-time turnover. Now he's thinking, all right, we need to be in sync on offense as well. We can't be fast on defense and slow on special teams. We have to make sure that we're maintaining the same energy on all sides of the ball. So let's grab some momentum. That's what he'd be telling these guys right now.
There's no doubt. I mean, this is a chance. You're moving the ball a little bit offensively. You miss a field goal, but your defense gets a big stop. At the very least, get some field position.
Clothesline by Jalen Carter.
That's back-to-back plays by Jalen Carter. It just, the guys, not only does he have power, but he's just so quick. So he backdoors the block. That means you see the offensive lineman, they're working left. He comes underneath that block. He backdoors that block. Now watch him rally to the ball. You got to be a jock to get away with that. Because otherwise, the truth is, if he doesn't make that play, then Georgia's not gap sound right there. If they get that ball to the line of scrimmage, it could pop. Jalen Carter rallies to it and comes up with a clothesline.
3rd and 11, Wright drifts back, throws it to Griffin, trying to make him get a little cushion, and he gets it out to the 16-yard line where Nakobe Dean makes the tackle. It's 4th down again. Going back to Jalen Carter, listen, all the talk about Jordan Davis is warranted. That guy has been maybe the best player in college football on the defensive side of the ball. But Jalen Carter looks like the next great Georgia defender on this team.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Lanning says, like, I view number 88, Jalen Carter, I view him as a starter. He's just a guy that maybe we don't run out there first. They easily could. And obviously on 3rd downs, he's a guy you want inside.
Much better punt from Smith. Jackson, fair catch at the 35. You hungry, Stench?
Always.
Gonna salute a local Nashville eatery in just a moment.
Welcome back to Nashville. If you follow our cruise games, you know that every single week, no matter where we are, we eat like a champion. And this week, like, it's about time we're doing donuts, guys. Five Daughters Bakery here in Nashville. Every time I come here, people recommend going there. It's my first time. What kind of donuts do you guys have up there?
I got the King Kong. Yeah, there's bacon on it.
Yeah, let him have the one with bacon. So he's wearing my tie and he's eating my donut.
That's right.
But this one's got cream inside it, which I did not anticipate.
It's delicious.
Just phenomenal.
This lives up to all the hype.
All five daughters. Kudos.
This is why I forgot a tie, so I could get it on Stench's tie.
Probably because you can't button your shirt anymore, Donut Boy.
Might need someone to call this play here. Gosh, this is delicious. Stetson Bennett out of bounds near the 37-yard line. You know what? I think Alyssa should be in charge of this segment from now on.
Just let her have it for a drive so we can suck down these donuts?
No, I think she should be in charge of where we decide to eat.
This was a great call.
Shout out to our statistician, Kevin Maloney, who picked them up this morning. Said the line was around the door or around the street, which is apparently normal for $5.
And he walked in there and said, I am the statistician for the game today, and I need donuts immediately.
I am Donut Boy.
McIntosh looking for space, going the wrong way. And Anthony Orji and Michael Owusu converge on him. Third down. That's exactly the kind of kick you need in the second quarter. Just a little, you're going to eat the whole thing, aren't you?
Yeah, a little sugar bomb real quick. I'm almost wondering if Alyssa's one of the 5 daughters. When you look at this one, 3rd and long, with Stetson Bennett, last time he uncorked a pass, obviously the ball went the other way. Eyes to the left side of the formation. Brock Bowers there now attached at the end of the line of scrimmage.
Bennett looks over at the sidelines. 3 on the play clock. And it's a completion to Burton to midfield. It's first down.
Moved the pocket. Stetson Bennett last time ended up flushing out on his own. This time a designed half rollout. We talked about Burton. You know, a guy who he was getting open because of his speed. What Todd Monken wants to see is get open because of your routes.
Bennett all day again. McConkey with a flag down inside the 25 to the 23. Accuracy on those last 2 balls much better for Bennett. We'll check the flag after this 27-yard gain.
Offside on the defense, number 88. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
That was a great anticipation on this throw because he put it underneath, and watch Bowers there. He ends up picking up on that block. What was going to be an encroachment, offsides by Owusu. Bowers did holding up in protection, and Bennett really layered that ball in there. You could see he released it early, gave plenty of time for McConkey to run underneath it.
It's a 6 20-plus yard play already in this game. Cook all day to run in front of him, and he cruises on down to the 15-yard line. Going to be second down. Hey, speaking of those explosive plays, Stinch, it's interesting something Jesse Minner, the defensive coordinator for Vandy, told us yesterday. He said this Georgia offense reminds him more of an Alabama-type offense than any of the Georgia offenses the last half-decade because of those explosive plays. And I have to say, after seeing it in person, I agree.
Yeah, it's the big chunk plays in the passing game that he's talking about. The downfield passing threat that you see, especially off play action, when you run the ball effectively and then you get your chunk yards through the air.
McIntosh drops the ball, picks it up, and is going to lose yardage back to the 20-yard line where Ethan Barr makes the tackle.
Don't know what happened on that exchange. It never looked like Bennett and McIntosh were hip to hip on that handoff. It ended up being a little bit more extended, maybe than McIntosh extended. Boy, you could see it. Maybe McIntosh just saw that hole on the right side. The eyes got big and forgot to take the ball with him, because there was definitely an opportunity there on that handoff.
Bennett all day takes off. First down, sliding down at the 12, and here comes a flag on Barr, who led with his head even though Bennett slid underneath him.
That was one of the things a week ago. We were talking with Todd Monken, and we said, look, you know, Stetson Bennett goes in there on that 3rd series. What was the thinking there? He said, look, you know, we didn't know how healthy JT was going to be. He was nicked up from the previous week, missed some time in practice, and in the event that they were to bring pressure, who can extend a play and handle that pressure better among the two? A lot of new faces, guys, around that quarterback spot.
Targeting number 32 on the defense. That play is under further review.
So as they take a look at this targeting penalty, you know, the thinking was, you know, you put Stetson Bennett in there. Carson Beck is a guy they're really high on. And look, going back to this targeting penalty, I'm not seeing he lowers his head. Does he hit anybody having lowered it? I don't think he hits anything. I don't know that he makes contact in the head or neck area.
The only reason he didn't, though, is because Bennett dove underneath him. He certainly was trying to.
You know, we've seen a lot of calls this year where technically they would meet the definition, but there was no intent. On this one, you lower your head. It does appear that you are intending to strike with the top of your helmet, but let's be real, he didn't. So you see, you know, one of the things, the indicators that you're looking for, and it's any forcible hit by the crown of the helmet. And yes, I saw Barr lower his head. I didn't see him make contact, though. He did make contact to the head or neck area to Bennett.
David Smith just working on his microphone.
After further review, there was no targeting by number 32. He may remain in the game.
Yeah, and you know what? I like the way that entire battery worked right there. Throw the flag, let's see if it is. And the way it works is it goes up to the booth and then it starts from scratch. Look at this play. Doesn't matter that the flag just initiated the opportunity to review it. I like the fact that there was no targeting on that call.
Are you perfect on the season? I think you are.
I think I'm batting 1,000, bro. Me and the replay booth are simpatico this year.
Stinch will be sticking around Dudley Field to officiate all the rest of the games as a rules analyst.
A victory lap
for the remainder of the day.
Victory donut.
Take a few bites, you deserve it. Cook never could find anywhere to run, and hey, Barr on the next play with a bunch of friends. Alan George are in the backfield. Vandy playing hard, second down.
Yeah, well played there, especially versus these perimeter blocks. What Georgia was able to do earlier was capture the edge cleanly and get downfield. That time, Cook is throwing moves in the backfield before you get to the line of scrimmage. That's the 4th tackle for loss for Vandy. They have struggled in that area all season long, coming into this game, having only had 6 tackles for loss in the previous 3 games.
It's a loss of 1 for Cook. Just look at all this time. Bennett, first down and goal to Bowers. We've forgotten about him for a few minutes. He's down to the 3.
It just stresses your secondary so much. Lots of protection. Roderick Jones there, number 59, that's locked down. Pass protection. That is full-blown control. Just push the guy around like a shopping cart. Get your hands inside, take him wherever you want to go. It's a good-looking rep by number 59, a guy that they need to emerge, that they want to emerge. Just got to clean up some technique, some assignment issues, but so far, playing good on this drive.
Just a bit short, actually, of the first down. This is the 10th play of the drive. Barely gets it off to McIntosh, and he didn't get there. Lost control of the ball for a moment, did get it back. Anthony Orji forces 4th down.
Not a fan of the cutback there at all. You're trying to find daylight on the backside of this run. You got 2 defenders that can come off the edge. You cut right back into the defense. Great job by Vanderbilt, backside, collapsing. You see McIntosh, he's cutting right back into an unblocked defender.
I like the call here to keep the offense on the field. You kick a field goal, you're just trying to tack on points. You're letting both teams compete.
And look who they got in there to block.
Jalen Carter lining up right in front of Cook, and Cook's extra effort. We'll see.
I don't think he got it.
Maxwell Worship got in there to make the tackle. It appears it's a turnover on downs.
Great job once again off the edge by Vanderbilt. They had a 4th and goal stop last week versus Stanford, and they come up with another one. Yet again, the Georgia offense stuffed in the red zone, the Commodore defense with another stop. Yeah, that's why I got side of your screen, right at the edge. Michael Owusu wins right now versus John Fitzpatrick, number 86. Blows him into the backfield. Jalen Carter ends up running into his back. He could have had that edge runner That time Worship coming off the edge should have been blocked, could have been blocked by the lead blocker in Jalen Carter. Great stop by the Commodore D.
Rocco Griffin gets a couple as Ken Seals is back out there at quarterback for Vanderbilt. He started the game. Mike Wright came in for a few series, still looking for his first completion. You got to give Clark Lee's team, his defense, a lot of credit for the way they fought. They got an interception on the previous possession deep in their own territory, and then force a goal line stand there when Georgia has 2 defensive linemen on the field. 2nd and 7. Patrick Smith ran directly into a couple of dogs. Zion Logue first to him. It's 3rd down.
And that's what Clark Lee's been trying to point out. He's like, look, yeah, we got to have some consistency, but more importantly, we just have to have fight. You can't glaze over, you can't tap out. And a stop like that, you know, you look, 4 runs on that last possession. 2 of them went for negative yards for Georgia. The other 2 went for no yards. That's a step in the right direction. Get the ball back for your offense.
Everybody is trained to look at the scoreboard. It's very difficult to train somebody on how to play before you're keeping track of who's winning. Robert Beal with the tackle on Smith. Looks like a timeout will be called with 1:04 to go in the half. Kirby Smart's Bulldogs with one heck of a first half in Nashville.
Beef farmers.
Coming up in the Farm Rich Halftime Report, us and the boys will talk a little Missouri Tigers up in Boston College, a close one. Same thing between LSU and Mississippi State. Benjamin Watson, what do you think of the Dogs right now?
Man, I'm on a text chain with all my tight end buddies from Georgia, and we are jealous of Brock Bowers right now with an end around and a touchdown catch for
one more year of eligibility?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know.
See,
I'm a little old for that.
You hear the hesitation, PB? I don't know if I want to try the end around at this point. Bowers and McConkey both with end around touchdowns.
Hey, let me tell you something about Benjamin Watson. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. There's a clip out there of him walking down Champ Bailey on an interception return when he was with the Patriots. Don't let him okey-doke you into thinking he couldn't run an end around and get it in the end zone. He's kind of slow playing that one.
Harrison Smith underneath his goalpost. Great hang time, and Kyrus Jackson will call for the fair catch at midfield. Let's see who gets today's Capital One rewarding performance. It's actually a controversial decision Mr. Schofield's making here.
Yeah. I don't know if it's debatable, but there's definitely other candidates. Ladd McConkey, high point in that football, gets a receiving touchdown naturally, but who thought that he would have a rushing touchdown and it would be the longest run of the year for the Georgia offense? And you know, you're talking about a couple of guys, new faces to this offense. Brock Bowers as well, 4 touches, one of those being a handoff.
Tom Schofield, our terrific producer, I would have gone Bowers. Bennett into traffic. Burton turns around, runs the other direction trying to get extra yards, and he might have gotten 1 extra yard out of it. It is a 17-yard completion. Now, I like what Kirby Smart is doing here. He's not trying to run up the score. He's trying to prepare his team to be in a hurry-up offense if necessary later in the season. Bennett to the sideline to Burton, and Burton gets to the 21, maybe now to the 20-yard line. When you play the Gators, or if you get to the SEC championship game against Alabama, you're going to need to showcase this offense.
It's situational football, and you cannot simulate it well enough in practice. This is game circumstances. You take advantage of that if you can. Obviously, hits the timeout right before that punt. You want to make sure they preserved enough clock to run this offense on a short field going into half.
Got Arkansas at Auburn and Kentucky the next 3 weeks. Those could be competitive games. Also need to clean up red zone offense. Bennett batted down. Good job at the line of scrimmage by Devin Lee.
Right there at the last minute, looked like Robinson was going to start uncovering right over the middle of the field. May have been the intended receiver. As it is, Bennett, who's kind of been plagued by some tip balls at the line of scrimmage.
Lee's a Georgia guy, McDonough, Georgia. Got his paw on that one, 2nd and 10.
Now Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint on the outside, bottom of your screen.
Bennett was looking over that way, now goes to the other side, and it's an easy completion to Justin Robinson, also from McDonough, Georgia.
You think Georgia offensively right now, you've substituted there and across your offensive front, your backup quarterback in there. Some of these receivers, of course, these guys that are contributing early in this season, part of that's a function of the injury situation in the wide receiver room. Some of these guys pressed into service maybe a little bit earlier. Now Jalen Johnson, number 23, substituting into the lineup at the bottom of your screen.
Bowers at the end of the offensive line there, with Bennett rolling behind Bowers and throws out of bounds. Kearis Jackson, the intended target. 4th down, and here comes the kicking team.
Last week, think about what happened right before half versus South Carolina. Defense gets a safety, offense drives it down, kicks a field goal, back-to-back weeks where you get that 2-minute drill right before half to see how well you can execute. You see Kearis Jackson, Kirby Smart.
It's been a bit disappointing, Stinch, and this part has been disappointing too. Podlesny has missed 2 field goals inside 40 yards. This is from 31. That's more like it. Podlesny, the MVP of the Peach Bowl when he hit that game winner against Cincinnati from 53 yards away. Trying to get back on track. It's Saturday. It's time to represent your school. Show us how big you're going today. Submit your best fan video this weekend to #ShowYourSaturday, and you just might get your 15 seconds of fan fame. A lot of great games across college football today. I know all of you are such big sports fans. Watching college football, Mizzou and Boston College tied up. LSU leads Mississippi State 7-3. Big one at Soldier Field going on. Notre Dame leads Wisconsin 10-3. And the Americans are up 9-3 in the Ryder Cup, going to 4-ball matches in the afternoon. I'm so proud of you for listening to Golf Talk this week.
I'm doing good, aren't I?
I still can't.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I've got an awareness that the event is happening, and I'm now actively participating in it.
I actually said this earlier in the show, and our producer Tom Schofield's in our ear right now wanting to know, do you know who Harris English is playing with this afternoon?
Yeah, the USA, baby.
Tony Finau.
There's only 2 teams, man. Only 2 teams out there.
Cam Johnson coming out, and he gets past the 20-yard line with just 10 seconds left in the half. It's the only thing in golf, by the way, that comes anywhere close to a college football-like atmosphere up there in Kohler, Wisconsin. And I know all those dog people are paying attention to that. So proud of English and all the great Georgia Bulldogs that play golf. I'm going to get a text from another one of those guys that almost made the team and say, stop talking about that. Talk about this Georgia defense. I want to see the 2nd and 3rd teamers. Seals to Griffin on the last play of the first half. 326 total yards for Georgia in the first half. 17 first downs. Forced a turnover and only limited Vandy to 48 yards of offense. Coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Vanderbilt Spirit of Gold Band on SEC Network Plus. You can start streaming now on the ESPN app. Let's go down to Alyssa.
Coach, what was it that helped your team get off to such a fast start?
Well, we came out fast, explosive. Their turnovers helped us. We had 2 quick turnovers, and offense came out in sync, so that was helpful, but sloppy finish to the half.
How would you evaluate your defense pitching a shutout so far?
Not playing a lot of snaps. We're getting some 3 and outs. So biggest thing is we got to find a way to get better at every point of attack, and kickoff team right now is not doing a great job, but proud of the way the guys came out.
What can we expect from the quarterback in the second half?
We'll see. We'll go in here and see who's ready to go and get some guys in the game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We've reached halftime here in Nashville. Georgia 38, Vanderbilt nothing. Let's send you to our halftime report with Peter Burns and the crew.
Thank you, Czar. Welcome to the Farm Ridge Halftime Report. Gene Chizik, Benjamin Watt.
SEC Network Football presented by Allstate. Georgia was dominant on defense. They got touchdowns in almost every single way you can imagine, and they lead 38-0. Stinch, they're ranked second in the country, but no one has started quicker than the Dogs did today.
No, it was very thorough, very efficient right out of the gate. Offensively, you could tell it seemed as if they would be hitting on most cylinders, if not all, despite the fact they still don't have all the faces that they would like to have in that offensive lineup. But when you look at the generated turnovers, not only in defense, but also special teams, and, you know, Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, the way that they contributed to these touchdowns, I don't think anybody necessarily anticipated they would do it in the manner in which that they have. It was a strong first half, to say the least, for Georgia, even though they might not have finished the tail end of that second quarter the way Kirby Smart would have liked.
And Georgia will get the football first to start the second half. We saw JT Daniels, we saw Stetson Bennett. Maybe we'll see some others at QB for the Dogs in the second half. Short kick by Bulovas, and it's fielded at the 8 by McIntosh, and Kenny's tackled up near the 28-yard line. Looks like Stetson Bennett is going to come out there to start the third quarter. Only saw one quarter from JT Daniels, and he was terrific. 9 of 10 for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And the only incompletion was a dropped pass. Otherwise, he was very much on target throughout that first half. Very effective. And you think about that opening game versus Clemson, it was obvious that not only was it respect for the Clemson defense, but also the injury that Daniels was dealing with as far as the play calling was concerned.
Handoff goes to White, and he is getting near 8 yards on first down. That's one thing Georgia fans have been clamoring for, is to feed him and or Cook more. I think the response by the coaches has been, let's keep all these guys fresh when the games get competitive in the next few weeks.
And they got that starting O-line back out there, and there's no doubt that they want to have these guys with plenty of rubber on those tires, right? You don't want them run bare before you get into the meat of your schedule.
Gets it again on 2nd and 2. It's a first down run for the man they call Zeus. 74 yards rushing against Clemson, the most by any Georgia tailback this year in any game. And White is just over 30 in this one to lead Georgia in rushing, but already 6 different people have carried the football, including a wide receiver and a tight end.
That's right. There's only one football, man. You can only hand it off to so many folks. These running backs are going to have to start boxing people out.
Bennett rolls out, and we'll keep it to the sidelines and get 8, maybe 9 more as Brendan Harris forced him out.
See Bennett that time kind of directing traffic a little bit. He was wanting Brock Bowers, instead of breaking up field to catch a pass, he was wanting him to pick up Brendan Harris so that Bennett could continue to run regardless. That's an element that he brings to the game that's distinct. Todd Monken was talking about it. When you're a talent like a JT Daniels, he's a pocket passer. He's elite pre-snap, but he's not a mobile guy. And so from a creation standpoint, that's not his strong point.
White stuttered a bit, but gets the first down. You know, going back to Bennett for a moment, started several games at the beginning of last season and had his ups and downs, and Georgia fans wanted to see JT Daniels start those games, though he wasn't cleared to play until the beginning of October. And the Daniels family, they earned lifetime respect for Kirby Smart for the way that he handled JT last season, being careful with a guy that seriously tore ligaments in his knee for USC back in 2019. And ultimately, it was the right call. Bennett has settled in as the backup quarterback with Daniels clearly as the starter. Rolls out and then takes it and tucks and run for a first down and slides just before the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that whole dynamic, right? At the beginning of the season last year, you got a new offensive coordinator, you get no spring practice, you've got abbreviated fall practice. Then you think you've got maybe an answer in Dwan Mathis. Stetson Bennett has to come in early and try to bail that out, knowing that JT Daniels has got starting experience, but had that elongated rehab process. And part of it was because of the COVID disruption. Couldn't have handled it better, and I think it built towards the successes you're seeing so far this year, especially out of that quarterback spot.
White gets a couple more down to the 29, and despite all these great numbers by Georgia with Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey, Burton, and the tailbacks, think of all the people they're missing. Kearis Jackson is playing today, but he's not 100%. Arian Smith is out. Dominic Blaylock, Darnell Washington aren't playing. George Pickens has been out. All of those players could be coming back to Georgia's offense in the weeks to come.
No doubt. And there are players out here now that are performing and performing well here today that would otherwise be behind all those players that you just mentioned in the depth chart.
Play action again. Bennett, plenty of time to set his feet and throw a good ball, and it's the third touchdown of the day for Brock Bowers.
We asked these coaches, is there any surprise? Is this a guy that's kind of flashing more than you thought? They didn't even hesitate. They said, no, we've expected this. And you could tell the trust was there early. First game versus Clemson. Brock Bowers figured prominently in those early play calls, and he's only built on that trust early on in his career here at Georgia.
Brock Bowers is a true freshman from Napa, California, and he is the leading receiver for Georgia in 2021. 2 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. It's 45-0 in Nashville. Brock Bowers already had an impressive freshman season with 2 touchdowns this year. He has 3 today.
Yeah, right when you thought that his young career couldn't start any better, he just builds on those performances.
Let's take you down to the field, and Alyssa.
Guys, I caught up with Clark Lee coming out of halftime, and I asked him about the quarterback situation from the first half. We saw Mike Wright come in pretty early. He said, yeah, that was part of the plan. We know that Mike gives us one of the best threats running the football. We thought he could be a little bit of a spark for us. So I said, well, will we see Ken Seals throughout the second half? He said, yeah. If we want to be able to put some points on the board, we have to be able to throw the football. That's where Ken gives us the biggest strength.
No first downs with Ken Seals so far in this game. You see his numbers today. He started the game, and then Mike Wright came in. And there's his first completion to Griffin out of the backfield for 2. Nakobe Dean's still out there starting. Dean has become one of the leaders of Kirby Smart's defense. Kirby saying, this is the deepest front 7 I've ever had. And here they come again on second down, and all Seals can do is throw it away.
On second down, this is what this defense does a lot, it seems. They run what's called a Mike Will cross dog. They bring both those linebackers and they cross right over the center, and they go into opposite A-gaps, and it can confuse the protection. That time, pretty good pickup by the Vanderbilt front. Of course, the protecting back as well. Dan Lanning is kind of the mastermind behind a lot of these pressures, and Boise have a lot of toys to play with that front 7. The skill set is ideal. They can do almost anything they want.
Gave up their first defensive touchdown and mop-up time against South Carolina last week. Seals tries to thread it in there. It's incomplete. Going for Pierce with Ringo right there on the last 2 plays. It's 4th down.
Well, on Ringo, he needed to clean up his play a little bit, and he knew that. He was a physical player. Got called for a couple of PIs early on this season. He's a guy that they wanted him to have some success with that ball right as he can contest those throws.
6th punt for Vandy already today. Kyrus Jackson back deep. Harrison Smith almost got it blocked and gets it off, and it is downed inside the 40-yard line. Great new SE Storied filmed on the voices of the Southeastern Conference. The Dogs had arguably the most identifiable man ever.
Going to try to kick it 60 yards, plus a foot and a half, and Butler kicked a long one, Oh my God, oh my God! The stadium is worse than bonkers. 11 seconds, I can't believe what he did.
Welcome to All-State.
Sunday night, be sure to see the premiere of the next SEC Storied film, More Than a Voice, a look at the iconic football play-by-play voices from around the SEC. You'll see and hear the legendary voices that made the games larger than life. 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, right here on the SEC Network. John Ward, Eli Gold, Mick Hubert, Rod Bramlett, Larry Munson will be featured tomorrow night with that documentary, and I cannot wait to watch it. Cook gets near midfield up to the 49-yard line. I don't know where to start with the most famous Munson calls. Maybe it's this one.
Going to throw on the run, complete to the 25, to the 30. Lindsey Scott, 35, 40. Lindsey Scott, 45, 50, 45, 40. Run, Lindsey, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Lindsey Scott, Lindsey Scott, Lindsey Scott.
My God almighty, did you see what he did? We just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot and broke their nose. We just crushed their face.
We miss him so much. A man that meant a lot to just about everybody watching as McIntosh gets a couple. There he is. That last play, the hobnail boot play, the brains behind Sterling Seacrest Partners, David Green throwing the touchdown pass. Okay, Matt Stinchcomb's also.
Cool hand Luke, man. That guy was steady at the helm, that's for sure. David Green.
2nd and 5, and McIntosh, a first down run and almost busted it loose down near the 31. There's so many legendary stories about Munson. One that I loved was when he used to do the SEC, look around the SEC before the games. He would do that during the pregame show as Bennett fakes the toss and throws inside the 10 and down inside the 5 is Fitzpatrick. It's 1st and goal. 28 more, and this one for the junior from Atlanta.
Spreading out the tight end love, it looks like, and they're quick over the ball.
McIntosh, how easy is that?
Nice block there on the backside by Broderick Jones. McIntosh finds his way into the end zone after some tough yards. All right, so you know, what you see on the backside, Warren Erickson, by the way, at left guard. There's not a more versatile player on this team. Brock Bowers aside. Warren Erickson at center, right guard and left guard.
Munson used to do the look around the SEC, and one day he said, all right, we need Florida to beat Kentucky, but this kid's got the camera in front of me. He's got the Michigan game on. I don't know what the score is. Larry, it's 10-3. What? Oh, all right, well, Florida's winning. We don't care anyway. We need them to lose today. McIntosh, the latest Georgia Bulldog to get into the end zone in this thrashing of Vanderbilt today in Nashville, Tennessee. Georgia's ranked 2nd in the country, but they certainly aren't playing like it. All due respect to the Crimson Tide or anyone else that you think might deserve #1 votes, Georgia might get a few more after this one. Part of the reason for that is because they have so much talent all over their defense. Is for some reason Vandy's Cam Johnson elects to come out. Let's take a look at the linebackers that are expected to be great pros. Here's Jim Nagy of the Senior Bowl on those guys.
It's not often that you talk about a couple of first-year starters near the top of any NFL draft ranking, but that's exactly where Georgia linebackers Channing Tindall and Quay Walker are for this year's Senior Bowl. You know, you watch their tape and they're impressive, but they're more impressive when you see them play live. Again, they look fast on tape, but you feel their speed when you see them play live. Both guys are over 6'2", 240 pounds, and can run sideline to sideline, and that's a big reason why both of those guys have a good chance of being in Mobile in January, because that's what the NFL is looking for at that position: size, speed, and the ability to run and hit.
Smith doesn't get much on first down, and Walker and Tindall have both been terrific. There's Tindall still out on the field. Made a big jump as a senior, Stinch, who can run everywhere.
Yeah, we asked Dan Lanning, you know, on a scale of 0 to Roquan Smith, how fast is this dude? And he's like, he might be as fast as Roquan. And you watch the film, as Jim was just talking about, and it's true. When you watch this guy down, he will overlap the play side backer sometimes in his pursuit. He gets there so quickly.
All Seals can do is throw it away, and you know, second and third teamers on the field, we're seeing just how deep Kirby Smart's defense and Dan Lanning's defense is today. Part of the reason why they think this could be their best bunch.
Yeah, they talked about that, where it's not just your frontline players, it's the fact that you've got difference makers across the entire front. It's not just they're good on the edge or they're good inside, they're good both. It's not like you're just good on the outside, linebacker, or up the middle. You're good across. You see Quay Walker there. That dude's 6'4", 240 pounds. Outside linebacker, they moved him inside. Took him a while, but he's got it figured out now.
Uh-oh, watch out. Just a free run by Robert Beal to the quarterback.
It's kind of like a radar look, you know, on that snap where everybody's standing up at the line of scrimmage. No one's really declared that they're going to rush, and it ended up being just one of those olays. Robert Beal accounted for in the scheme, but confusion at right guard, and he gets a free run at the quarterback.
Smith off the side of his foot. Georgia's going to start at the 35. More SEC college football action later today. All from the great state of Alabama at 4 Eastern. Georgia State travels to Jordan-Hare to take on number 23 Auburn. And it's 7:30 Eastern. Our Saturday night game presented by T-Mobile. Bryant Denny, number 1 Alabama, hosting Southern Miss, or as Coach Bryant would call them, Mississippi Southern, seeking their 100th consecutive win over an unranked opponent. It's the longest streak in the AP poll era. Carson Beck now in at quarterback for the Dogs. We've seen him play a little bit this season, the redshirt freshman from Jacksonville, Florida. Hands to Cook. Gets a couple. Beck was Florida's Mr. Football 2 years ago. Stinch came in with big expectations to Athens.
And a guy that they're high on. They really are. So it was more of a function a couple of weeks ago versus UAB. He came in there on the 3rd series but did not get the start. And they just said, look, there was just too many new faces. Too many guys who were either freshmen, backups. They were having to start and play meaningful snaps. They wanted that veteran presence in Stetson Bennett. They're still very pleased with where Carson Beck is.
Beck dances a little bit, but a good ball to Jackson Meeks down near the 22-yard line.
You know, Todd Monken made an interesting comment about Carson Beck and saying his pocket awareness is probably the best of the 3 quarterbacks, which is interesting. You know, he's not a great runner, but he can run. He's pretty good as a pocket passer, so Stetson's more of the better runner of the 3. JT Daniels is the superior pocket passer, but from a present standpoint, Beck's got better awareness.
McIntosh eludes a couple of tackles and gets inside the 20. So you're talking about Daniels, Bennett, and Beck being the three guys we've seen. Now, what about the man with the hair over here, Brock Vandegrift? He'd be the fourth guy. We could see him at some point.
That's a crowded quarterback room when you think about it. You know, it's proves to be a blessed problem to try to decide and define who deserves to play when.
I would say this is the Daijun Edwards portion of the festivities, but he's already recovered a fumble today. We've already seen him some. He's on the field on this second down. Good defense there as Justin Robinson was covered up by Allen George, 3rd and 7.
Really nice play by Allen George. You know, earlier Justin Robinson was targeted. Boundary throw, had a drop. That time Allen George did a great job getting his hands between the receiver's hands to break up that pass. Well defended in the air.
Beck just 4 for 10 passing, 88 yards, a touchdown, and an interception coming into this game. Throws to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Kyrus Jackson, the intended receiver, but Jalen Mahoney right there in coverage, 4th down.
Kyrus Jackson, we talked about him earlier. They got him a couple of touches on back-to-back plays, and a guy that they're still trying to get back healthy. You know, that knee is taking longer than they anticipated, and he's been situational, largely a 3rd down receiver. Didn't even get any routes versus Clemson, and has kind of been growing more and more in his snaps.
36-yard attempt by Podlesny, and it sneaks in there. 55-0 today, with 4:16 left in the 3rd quarter. It's time for our celebration moment, brought to you by Allstate.
Well, we've seen some big plays today, there's no doubt. Some turnovers that were generated. This one was early. Christopher Smith coming up with another pick. He was smelling the end zone. He's already taken one back to the house this year. The ball was thrown a little bit behind the receiver by Ken Seals. And this defense is just not going to allow you many miscues. They are around the football too much, not only tackling it to the ground, but in the passing game as well. If that ball's arriving, there's almost always a defender in proximity. The ball's got to be well placed. See right now, last 4 games in this series, how Georgia has just been dominant. And you think it's interesting. You know, 5 years ago, it's 2016. Vanderbilt goes into Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, and wins. That's a team that's got Nick Chubb and others on that team.
You were there to call it.
Called that game. And boy, these programs, they're in different solar systems right now. Wow.
And this is just Vanderbilt's day in a nutshell. Just catch it. You get it at the 25. Instead, you get it at the 3.
You know, the kickoff returns have made no sense all day for Vanderbilt, frankly. You know, you're bringing them out of the end zone. It costs you. You continue to try to bring it out. Then you fair catch for a little while. Cam Johnson tried to bring one out to begin the half.
And Cinch, I just think that's a product of what the score is and just the overall mood in this program at the moment. This is a really bright guy, and Cam Johnson from Brentwood. And he just lost his mind for a minute. He fields 50 of those a day warming up. Rocco Griffin able to move it out to the 5-yard line, and that was, as you said early in the first half, that's what Clark Lea's biggest charge is to try to get these guys conditioned to believe that they can compete and try to win games. He was really struck by how shocked this team was at giving up a touchdown against East Tennessee State and how it led to several more and ultimately losing the football game. This program has gone through a lot of what the score currently is in the last few years.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that. You know, the word that he used, and I've not heard this before, was traumatized. It's like this team has been traumatized. He could not believe the reaction that he got as soon as they went down versus East Tennessee State in that opener. And he said, I got this look of, the sense of, oh, well, here we go again. So we just can't have that. They have to start working in the right direction, and he knows that. The whole idea is he has to infuse this program with some semblance of energy. He's got to re-energize it somehow. Next week they got UConn. They might even be favored versus UConn. There's a chance that they can get back on the winning track.
Pierce catches it, and he's right near a first down, but it could be short. Lassiter with the tackle. There's going to get some new locker rooms. Certainly overdue. Football program has been clamoring for this for a long time, and they were so excited to get into these new locker rooms. A $300 million investment's been made in the program. It's the largest in Vanderbilt history to have an operations center, an indoor facility. Construction's going to begin at the end of this season.
Well, they're long overdue. You said a mouthful there. I mean, it's the investment in winning here at Vanderbilt. That was promised. One of the things that were said when Clark Lee came in and they made that decision to move away from Derek Mason was that the school was actually going to start putting its resources towards putting a competitive football team on the field with some level of consistency. They got a long way to go. As a member of this conference, they got a long way to go. They've definitely benefited from it. Now it's a matter of just allocating it appropriately.
But you think of the other, you go to Athens or College Station, Lexington, where we were the first couple of weeks. They have spaceship-like looking facilities.
Yeah, even Missouri, when you think about it, and Missouri had a couple of down years from an attendance standpoint, and yet they built a brand new facility. And right now Vanderbilt is, they're the thumb on the hand at this point, where they're the last ones to get in there. And, they're getting to participate in this conference network for that matter. And so there are resources where you'd like to hope that for these kids and these coaches that they are applied towards this program so that it can have a consistent competitive football team.
Challenging the spot to see if Pierce in fact was short. Everybody would tell you, we've been talking about this for days. Every time they tell us, hey, you guys are going to Nashville, we get so excited. This is one of the best towns in America, let alone the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, I think in the preseason, Stinch, you and I did a show on SEC Now ranking some of the underrated environments in the SEC, and Vanderbilt Stadium was on the list because everyone loves coming to Nashville. Look at the stands. They're covered in red.
The field is confirmed. The runner was short for the first down. It will be fourth down.
And I stand by that, Stinch. You love coming here, so it's not a hard sell to say, hey, come live in Nashville for 4 years.
Yeah, and, have a plan. Leverage your strengths. There's plenty to sell here. They also need to be accompanied by, that groundswell of support. And, it'll be interesting to see how well and how committed they will be going forward to giving this program the resources that are even close to its peers.
Smith with a great punt.
Wow.
McConkey back at his 34-yard line. He's got speed and gets into Vanderbilt territory. Well, 100 seasons ago, Vanderbilt was arguably the best team in America. They went 8-0-1. Dan McGugin, the legendary head coach, in his 18th season. They were 5-0 in conference action, and they were crowned the QPRS national champion that season. Did not lose a football game. They did have one tie against the Michigan Wolverines that season, and what's interesting about that is in that game in 1922, Dan McGugin had to coach against his brother-in-law, Fielding Yost, in a 0-0 tie. So it's not unprecedented that Vanderbilt has had some success. In fact, before World War II, they were one of the better programs in college football as Edwards trucks a defender. Look at this is the craziest stat Mitch Hummer, our incredible graphics man, has ever showed us. Exactly the same amount of wins before World War II as after. The only difference is 430 more losses.
Yeah, it kind of swung the other way. If you think about it, what a difference the trend line for this program has taken. That's almost as staggering as the stat that this is the 6th possession where Georgia has started inside the Vanderbilt 50. They've been playing on a 50-yard field all day.
Which is why I wouldn't have punted. It was an incredible punt.
4th and short, might as well, right? What's the difference when you end up having it inside the 50 once again? See if you can't muscle it forward for a yard. You wouldn't often say that when you're talking about doing that, going for it 4th and short, that deep in your own territory, but you're down 55-0.
Beck on a 2nd and 1. Already using up as much clock as he can, and Edwards is short. It'll be 3rd down. Daijun Edwards must be the greatest 5th-string tailback you've ever seen.
I'll tell you what, he's great in that 4-minute drill for sure. Talk about a guy that can take the air out of a game, suck down that clock. He's an impressive runner, but you're right. We're talking about how crowded it is, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of receivers, a lot of running backs at Georgia. Tough to get carries.
Well, I'm sure we'll see a lot of him in the 4th quarter here in Nashville as Georgia leads 55-0.
Here back at the studio, it's time for the AT&T 5G Studio update for the 6th straight game. Max Johnson's got 3 touchdowns, most in FBS going on right now. This time, ends up finding Kayshon Boutte. That's being a successful score. That would put it out to 14-3. Then a couple drives later, Trey Palmer wide open. Now, State did finally score. Will Rogers to Makai Polk, 21-10.
You said Kayshon Boutte's name, I feel like 4 dozen times last December in that incredible LSU Ole Miss game. What a receiver he is for the Tigers. 1st down run for Daijun Edwards. No, they say short. Half a yard short. All right.
Yeah, I was wondering where they were going to spot it over there on the far sideline. They got him short of the line to make. But yeah, you're right. You think about some of the playmakers at LSU, right, so far this season where John Emery not in there for them. Davis Price has been a little bit banged up at running back, so they really haven't figured out who the answer is at running back at LSU, but Max Johnson, Kayshon Boutte have kind of kept that offense plugging along. They really haven't trended the direction I thought they could. Coming into the year, I thought, well, LSU could have a chance to be a good football team this year. They may continue to improve, but it doesn't look like they're going to achieve what maybe they could have. Well, we've seen one of these teams already this year in Texas A&M taking on Arkansas. Obviously, Georgia plays Arkansas in Sanford Stadium next week. Be an interesting matchup depending on how things shake out.
We need to pick the Southwest Classic. Aggies and Hogs. That, to me, is the game of the week to pick. First, Georgia will go for it here on 4th and half a yard. It's only the 2nd time this seat. Well, it's actually the 3rd time Georgia's gone for it. They're 0 for 2. Up movement on the right guard.
And now the question will be, will they call it on the defense? Because Devin Lee jumped first. Will they say, did his movement trigger Xavier Truss to move? We've actually seen that called that way a couple of times this year. It almost looked like Truss was trying to touch Lee when he was in the neutral zone.
Offside on the defense. The defender jumped in the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
See Truss, yeah. So Truss reaches out and touches his helmet. Devin Lee rather in there, number 55, and Truss, a guy that in previous games he'd put like an 80 jersey on. He would be the extra blocker in there with an eligible number, like an extra tight end.
UGA just has 1 penalty today. Back to the Daijun Edwards show. And he moves the pile inside the 20 down to the 18. Do we have some picks on this Aggie Hog matchup coming up in just a little bit? Game starts at 3:30 Eastern Time in Arlington.
When A&M has owned that matchup.
9 in a row. Arkansas still leads the series, but A&M certainly has had the better of them since they joined the Southeastern Conference.
It might change this afternoon, given the way things have trended.
Ooh, is that a tease towards Mr. Stinchcomb's pick? We'll see. Or is that a little reverse like Corso likes to do? Edwards down to the 15-yard line. He was just teasing.
Okie dokie.
We got the Aggies. Alyssa and the voice of reason, our producer Tom Schofield. I love that picture.
Did he suffer some type of neck injury prior to making that pick? It's concerning.
He looks extremely concerned. Wow. In that picture.
Like an extra from Dexter.
And that's that has to be your, what, junior year in high school picture that you have up?
No, that was just a couple weeks ago. Maybe a little retouching.
3rd and 3. Edwards, look at this hole. Touchdown.
We talked about him earlier. When's he get his carries? He gets them late in games. Number 30 for Georgia, and he's done this in other games too. Watch him. This is nice patience. It's right behind big Amarius Mims. That right side, and puts it in the end zone again for the Dogs.
62 points, ties the most Georgia has scored versus Vandy ever. But before the game, Kirby Smart said, watch out for 33 today. I said, I think he switched to number 30. He said, I can't ever keep track. He switches numbers all the time. No matter what number he is, he runs the ball for Georgia.
Football.
Let's look at our smoothest play, brought to you by Velveeta.
Velveeta is just so darn smooth. It's hard to pick one. Lots of smoothiness in this one. Jalen Carter, an interior defensive front. Defensively, just in general, dominating early. Christopher Smith getting up there. Robert Beal getting in on the action. Beal caused a fumble earlier on special teams. Jalen Carter out there just decapitating children. It's been a violent performance by the Georgia defense.
Munson was making hobnail boot references in a game that was decided at the very end. Can you imagine what he would have said about this today?
Yeah. He might be watching other screens. He was prone to distraction.
I do have one more good one for you about Mr. Munson, and somewhere Georgia alum Grant Zarzer is going to die that I actually did this on the air, but here it goes. 1st and 10. First for Mike Wright in Vanderbilt. As Dylan Betts-Pauley carries the football. They went to Larry one time before a Georgia-Arkansas game about 20 years ago, and they said, this is pregame, and they said, let's take a look around the Southeastern Conference, and here's the voice of the Dogs, Larry Munson. And on the air, he says, I'm not ready. And pregame host says, okay, well, we'll come back to Larry in just a minute. I'm not ready. The Braves have the bases loaded. And the guy's ready to go to commercial break, and then all of a sudden, as he's literally tossing it to break, Munson right throws, it's incomplete. He was looking for Quincy Skinner. Munson, as they're going to break, says, okay, Brian Jordan just hit a grand slam for the Braves. Here we go. Earlier today in Auburn, the Tigers beat Tennessee. And he goes around the SEC with the scores, but would not start his SEC scoreboard.
Bases were loaded?
Until the Atlanta Braves were done with their bases loaded situation.
Priorities, man.
Sounds like our producer, Tom Schofield, when the Yankees are on.
That's true.
Can't do the production meeting at that time. Yankees are on.
I believe well, for a few seconds there, the clock was running. I didn't know if we had agreed to a running clock, but Wright somehow escapes trouble and runs past the 30-yard line to the 33. He's going to be just short. Vandy will punt again.
Number 95, Harrison Smith.
In this current situation, you would think you'd have to see more of Mike Wright, just given his ability to take off and elude trouble.
A little surprised that we didn't see more of him, even with the downfield passing threat that they were seeking to get. It seemed unlikely there would be even enough time to develop a route downfield.
Smith's soccer-style kick is inside the 10. Not ready. The Red Sox have the bases loaded. Back in Nashville in just a moment.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Save money like a champion with Allstate.
You don't know who these guys are?
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, this is the Vanderbilt baseball team. There is Tim Corbin at the end over there, one of the best.
How does he not have his shirt tucked in?
He typically does, doesn't he?
No, I'm talking about Tim Corbin. He's like weird about stuff like that.
I talked to him down here, so I can jump in on that if we have time.
Yes.
Corb's able to win some national championships. Alyssa, did you have a chance to catch up with him?
Yeah, I got to chat with him a little bit before halftime, and I actually asked him, did you get any vacation? Did you get any downtime or anything? He looked at me and he was like, yeah, my wife did, but no, back on the road recruiting after Omaha.
That's the way it works. Edwards slipped, and he's gobbled up by Marcus Bradley. So a loss of a few. On second down, Alyssa evidently is taking some heat for her Razorbacks pick. I waffled back and forth on that one. I think that's going to be a great game, and it could be the end of the streak in Arlington later today. A&M's offensive line is nowhere close to as good as the ones that Jimbo Fisher's had the last couple of years. I'm just thinking that Aggie defense might be a little too stout for Arkansas. Edwards able to get a couple. Alyssa, why the Hogs?
You know, you mentioned, Taylor, it's been a while since they've beaten A&M, right? So I'm looking at what this Arkansas team has done this year, and it kind of feels to me like one of those, okay, it may be about time, certainly after the win against Texas, but I always go back to what we say about this league. You win games in the trenches, and you look at Arkansas's offensive line right now, one of the best run-blocking units in the country, and then you look at the other side and what Barry Odom's doing on the defensive side of the football, the linebackers that they bring in, the mentality that Arkansas team is playing with. Now, I'm not saying they're going to blow A&M out. I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be a really close game, but if I have to choose, I'm going to go different. I'm going to lean Arkansas on this one.
Okay. Who did Marvel pick?
Marvel picked A&M.
Against Marvel, who's been perfect.
11-1 going into this week. He did choose Florida to upset Alabama last week, which was close.
It was close.
It was close.
Here's the records, I guess. So somebody's keeping track. Voice of Reason, the 3-1. Taylor, you look like a model citizen.
I can't see it, but I know I'm not doing well.
You're 2-2.
You're 2-2. You're just 2 games back. You and Stench. Yeah, you're right. You're still in it.
We definitely have the best headshots of the four. That's for sure.
I always feel cheated. I can't see the headshots.
I'm proud of my headshot. Mine's at least from this century. Yours is from your college days. Should be a great game coming up in just a little bit.
Welcome back to Nashville, Tennessee. Hey, y'all, don't forget, we're on every Wednesday on the SEC Network, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It's Out of Pocket, and it's an hour of anything you could imagine when it comes to SEC football. We talk food, we talk, of course, the best of the best from week to week, recap the weekend's games, look ahead to the next week. This past week, we had Missouri head coach Eli Drinkwitz on before their big game against Boston College. He told us he's a big pumpkin spice latte guy.
Oh, boy. Here we go. So you can't be a bigger fan than you are of that stuff.
I don't like the pumpkin spice lattes, but thanks for assuming, Stinch.
I thought they couldn't break out the pumpkin spice fast enough.
I did introduce Chris Doering to pumpkin cream cold brew this week, and I've never seen a human drink something faster.
Doering's up for anything.
Yeah.
BC leads Mizzou 27-24. That's over on ESPN2.
Wow. Back to that Kentucky-Missouri game a couple of weeks ago. Kentucky did not play great last week. Turnovers, misfiring on downfield shots. Missouri gave them more than they wanted. Now Missouri struggling on the road.
Throw it, Mike, all the way, and is it picked off? I believe so. Kamari Lassiter. True freshman from Savannah, Georgia. Down there, double coverage. He was number 3 last week. He switches to number 13 and gets his first career interception.
With the studio update, wild play in Starkville. LSU up 21-10. Max Johnson's going to find Cole Taylor. Take a look at the Mississippi State defenders. They would be okay. Cole Taylor scores touchdown, 28-10 Tigers over the Bulldogs.
It's a big win for Coach O. Team that had been sputtering first couple weeks of the season, lost to UCLA. Carson Beck might be getting a little bit of breathing room here. We'll see.
False start, 73 on the offense. Nope. Penalty is half the distance
on
to the
Truss.
goal. First down.
Only the second penalty of the game on Georgia. There are the largest road shutouts in SEC history. Vanderbilt, unfortunately, has been on this side of things in the past. 4 years ago, that Alabama-Vandy game is fresh in the minds of Vandy fans. Beck gets a little bit of breathing room there and gets out to the 3-yard line.
Yeah, definitely lopsided in those. Think about for like the LSU Mississippi State game. You talk about that's a big win for the Tigers. It is. Think about what they've got waiting on them now. They're going to host Auburn at home. Then they go on the road to Kentucky. They get Florida back at home and then back on the road versus Ole Miss, an Ole Miss team. Some people are starting to chirp about maybe having a chance to make waves in that West Division. Maybe second best team in that West Division, given how good they are on offense.
Savon Clark trips. That game, that Alabama-Ole Miss game next week, is really interesting. Last year, Alabama could not get off the field on defense against the Rebels, and the problem is Ole Miss couldn't either, and Alabama had 1 or 2 more bullets in the chamber, and I still think they're certainly deeper than Ole Miss is, but you never know. We've seen when Hugh Freeze's Ole Miss team beat Alabama, you had crazy fluky things happen in that game, few turnovers, yeah. Ole Miss wins. You give Ole Miss a turnover or 2 next week, they can beat Alabama.
You're exactly. I think that's the difference to me. Last year's version, it didn't feel fluky. Not on offense, another procedure penalty. And that's a hard count that's just lacking concentration, because you can see Beck.
Full start, number 77 on the offense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Still third down.
We were talking with Todd Monken, and whether or not they would make some changes up front, et cetera. It's like, you got to play the guys you trust. You can't trust guys that are going to get procedure penalties. That's a couple now. One on Truss, now on Willock. You just got to hold in there. What you're trying to do is get the defense to jump so you pick up 5 free yards. And you can see Beck. He's in there. He's under center, calling the hard count. You can't jump on it. You knew it was going to be a hard count. Did it again. I don't know how that's possible. I don't care how many points you are up. It just doesn't matter. It's the same thing again. You get up there, it's on the hard count. It's got to hold in there. Be late, but don't be early. 3 procedure penalties now. It's almost meaningless because there's no field to concede.
Clark is able to move it out near the 4, even the 5. It's the one thing about football that I've never understood, and Bill Belichick talked about this a few years ago, that one of the fluky parts of the game is every time you have one of those penalties, the clock continues to run. And Belichick said there have been a few times where in the NFL he's had a lead for the Patriots, and he actually wanted his team to intentionally
on purpose,
do it to run some more clock. I'm not suggesting that's what Georgia was doing.
No, that wasn't the case here.
The 37-yard line is where Vanderbilt will start after that punt by Camarda. It's 4:22 to go here in Nashville. Georgia coming up, Stinch, has Arkansas next Saturday at noon, at Auburn in 2 weeks. By the way, that's the oldest rivalry in the Deep South is moving from November to October.
Still doesn't feel right, and it probably never will. You look at the chance to win, though, and it'll be interesting to see if that moves, how it moves. That 87% chance to win versus Arkansas, depending on what happens here in just a little while in Arlington versus A&M. You know, it's interesting because, you know, Alyssa, you made great points about that offensive front, how well they blocked in the run game, and KJ Jefferson. But what kind of swung it for me was early on in the week when they're talking about a couple of starting linemen maybe being out. And I couldn't find where it said one way or the other. Is Stromberg and Wagner going to be in there? And if not, man, that A&M defensive front is so salty. If those guys are healthy, I'd have taken the Hogs, and maybe they are. And then you end up being right, and then that means I will be in last place as far as picking teams. Alyssa will be at 3-2, and I'll be sitting at 2-3.
Not that we're a competitive bunch or anything.
No, it's not like we're keeping track.
Dylan Betts-Pauley has had to carry the last couple of downs for Vandy. Mike Wright alone in his backfield on this 3rd and 7. Good ball over the middle, and blown up is Cam Johnson. David Daniel coming in there to make this big hit.
Ooh. Great focus by Johnson. Hang on to this thing because he had to know he was about to get worked, and did. Made the catch and hung on.
My God, a freshman. Daniel is. Wright throws it out of bounds as you continue to watch SEC Network football presented by Allstate. That's what's coming up. Auburn looks like better than the 23rd team in the country in Brian Harson's first 3 games as a head coach. Betts-Pauley gets a couple more, or make that Ziegler rather. Impressive for a guy that comes over from Boise State to show this kind of offense, taking over for Gus Malzahn, who tried to put a bunch of points on the board, but just his offense has kind of got stagnant the last couple of years. Not for Harsin. Tank Bigsby and those guys have been terrific so far.
They have. I mean, really explosive. Came up short, obviously. Up north versus Penn State, really difficult conditions. As you see, a little bit of confusion there for the Georgia defense.
Right to the sideline. Incomplete to Ziegler, 4th down. All right, do you kick it here, or do you just go for it? Do you try to put some points on the board so you don't have a 0 next to your name?
Well, we saw in the first half where it seemed like that was the thinking. Let's kick it, take advantage of what was decent field position at the time. Mike Wright was the quarterback on that drive as well. Ended up missing the field goal. Said, forget it. We'll see if we can extend the drive.
These crazy Dog fans haven't gone anywhere. That's the call on 4th and 7 against this defense? No way. Warren Brinson helped get in there. So did Dan Jackson.
A lot of folks from the Athens area, just south of here in Georgia, that made the trip. That whole side, and wasn't that far from where the ball was placed. Don't get that play call at all. If you're going to go for it, at least a play that would give you a chance. I don't know how a run up the middle, even with the backups in there and deep into the depth chart.
True that there are a lot of Athens people here, but Nashville's always been a melting pot of SEC fans. So many big alumni bases. Obviously Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss has huge alumni bases. Georgia has a massive presence in the Music City. And they saw one of the most convincing victories in program history. It is the largest win by Georgia in the series in the 82-game history between the two.
Yeah, the challenge for the Georgia coaching staff is, and there's always something to coach up, and it's never perfect, but it's to find something. In this game, we were saying we got to do this better, fill in the blank, and in broad brushstrokes, you're going to be hard-pressed to find that. This was a convincing victory. That's probably a massive understatement, to say the least. And for Vanderbilt and Clark Lee, I think the mountain that he needed to climb got a little bit higher today, because the disparity between these programs is stark and has never been wider right now. To keep his team and their heads in it, because the kids in the red and black today, they're excited about where this team is trending, that's for sure.
SEC Now presented by Yellowwood. Coming up next, and then at the top of the hour, it's Georgia State and number 23, Auburn. My friends Dave Neal, Deuce McAllister will be on the call for that. Tommy Hart, Jordan Rogers, and Cole Kubelik tonight for Alabama and Southern Miss. Kirby Smart is now 23-2 in the East since 2017. And first season, just 8-5 and a loss to Vanderbilt, but dominance since for Kirby, and he is with Alyssa.
Coach, your defense pitches another shutout. How big was that for another conference game?
Well, it was an overall team win. I thought the offense came out really fast. Defense played with a lot of energy. We got to play a lot of guys today.
Speaking of coming out fast, how about your young freshman tight end, Brock Bowers, in the start he had? What'd you think of him?
Well, he's an excellent practice player. He plays really hard. He's a hard worker. A couple things fell his way today. They played man-to-man on him, and it gave us some shots.
You guys were able to get some good work in for a couple of your quarterbacks. What did you learn about that room? What did you like about the reps you got?
Well, they both got ways to go. We got to get better with the quarterbacks. Decision-making, Stetson's got to do a little better job early on, but I'm proud of the scrambling he did, and he used his feet to help him.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Convincing, dominant performance for Kirby Smart's Georgia Bulldogs today, Stinch. This is a team that doesn't take a backseat to anyone in 2021.
No, and they're still not full strength. This is a team that you still haven't seen the full strength of this roster, especially on the offensive side of the football. They're waiting to get some guys back. They were shy some players today, and they're going to be healthy soon enough. And in the meantime, they've been making progress with the ones they do have available.
Jordan Davis now with Alyssa.
Jordan, you guys pitched a big shutout. Always big to do that in a conference game. What goes goes into the performances that we've seen from you guys defensively so far?
Well, we prepare all week, and it's one of those things that we said we had to have, so it doesn't matter who we play. We always try to go for 0, so just having Vandy be the first one, so we hope to continue this trend.
How about for you personally? Every single down you're affecting the play. What goes into the performances that we've seen from you this year?
It's just being around my brothers. I just want to play my heart out wherever I do. I only played 9 snaps today, but even those 9 snaps, I want to make sure that I'm effective to play any way I can.
What do you guys talk about week to week just as a defensive unit to try to keep up the momentum you have so far?
Just play. We want to go in the doctor's office every week. Every Monday we go in the doctor's office, we fix what we need to fix, and we want to put games back to back. So, next week we'll fix what we need to fix. We didn't play a perfect game, but we want to make sure that we play close to perfect.
Thanks, Jordan. Congrats.
Thank you.
He is not alone. He is one of the best in all of college football, but he's got so many terrific parts around him. Georgia makes history with their 62-0 victory over Vanderbilt today. For Matt Stinchcomb, Melissa Lang, Tom Schofield, and our entire production team, I'm Taylor Zarzer. We send you now to our SEC studios.
Thank you, Taylor Zarzer.